Hello. So we are in the transit of Moon in Pisces yet again. We've been we always experience this once a month for about 2.5 days, like all lunar transits. But considering that we also have Neptune in the region of space known as Pisces, for every month um, since I think 2011 and until 2025, we go through this time period where the Moon and Neptune are both in Pisces. And it's a bit of a psychedelic trip, a subconscious journey where we explore our emotions, and where our emotions can feel very confusing at times and very amorphous or ethereal. There's always a good lesson from all of the feelings that we feel, but it's essential to be willing to explore our subconscious, and it's also essential to go with the flow a little bit and to not try and grab onto it like we're trying to grab onto water, of just, why am I feeling this way, what am I feeling. It's important to breathe, make sure just the fluids in our body are circulating, and especially our emotions playing off of the water in our body, which comprises most of our body. I think it's like 70% or so. We need to breathe and just make sure we're taking care of basic functions. We're not getting too caught up in our emotions, making sure we're sleeping well. This is a huge theme during this transit, making sure we're eating well, making sure, again, we're just breathing. And if we're taking care of all of that, then we can really get into the subconscious, because we'll have grounded the body, we'll have taken care of the body well enough so that we can get into, okay, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And again, not trying to like figure it all out at once, or not trying to grab hold of it. Time is going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to progress, and we'll be able to discover different things about our emotions that are impossible at any one given time. At any one given time, about anything in life, we can't really like figure it, okay, this is what it's all about. It's a process, it's a progress, it's something that is over the course of time, over the course of life experience. So with today's moon in Pisces, and with tomorrow's moon in Pisces also, what's best is to explore how our subconscious is connected with our ego, with our creativity, our spirit, our vitality, and how to put those different realms of our life more in connection with each other, so that our subconscious is allowing us to not take ourselves too seriously, allowing us to stay free of being too egotistical. But on the other hand, well, let's focus on this first, and to be able to listen and to be able to grow and consider and to recognize with great humility that ultimately none of us controls our life. We may be able to guide it fantastically and reprogram our subconscious to be able to continue to grow fantastically. Absolutely, that's true. But we don't control it. There is an element of timing from the universe and influences from the universe that is part of being human, and is something that is to be enjoyed. It's a ride of sorts, almost like riding the river of life, and the river forks off into different paths, and we get to choose which current to take. So one of these, today and tomorrow, is one of these transits where we really get to consciously explore the subconscious and figure out what current are we taking in the river and which direction to go from there, and to make sure that we're taking the right current for us, again, to be able to enjoy our ego. So we said before, to make sure we don't get too caught up in the ego, but also to make sure our subconscious is feeding our ego. Ego is like really anything in life. We want to have that sweet space, that sweet spectrum in the middle. We need to refocus on making sure our subconscious is feeding our ego, and making sure that we're not being too self-deprecating, we're not giving away of our time or our energy too much without some kind of equal energy exchange. That's something else about this transit that's really important. So if you find yourself again on the other side of too little ego, this is a great time to learn how to stand up for yourself and to be compassionate for yourself. As Buddha says, if our boundless compassion does not include ourselves, it's incomplete. So this is a great time to figure out, okay, am I swimming on the current of too much ego or too little ego? And if we're in between here, where we care about others and we're being selfless and we're being compassionate, but we're also making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and we're standing up for ourselves and we're being true to ourselves and what we need in life, then that's the beautiful middle path. As always, I'm doing readings. If you're interested, feel free to check out. If you're on Instagram, in the bio section, I have a link to all the readings I offer. And on YouTube, in the About section, as always, there's also that same link. And if you've never had a reading, feel free to ask any kind of questions. I know some people get a little confused, but it's basically talking exactly like I do in these videos of different perspectives of how to make the most of gifts, how to deal with challenges. And if you're not quite sure, I do offer a really low price reading of $20 for 15 minutes, and we can cover a lot, 15 minutes. So I do recommend usually at least a half hour, or for a first time reader, at least an hour, because there's so much to cover, from natal chart to transits to, if you want to focus on relationship stuff, that's even more than an hour. There's so much good stuff with all this. So if you're interested and you need a guide through all this, this is what I do.